Hello, everybody. A warm welcome to the ELTons Festival and to this session on using messaging apps for course design and delivery. This session is interactive. We want you to have your say. If you have questions, please put them in the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen. There'll be polls that pop up for you to take part in. So welcome, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Philippa Davies, and I'm the Open Learning Manager for Teaching English, Open Learning Training Courses for Teachers. And I'm representing the course design team for our messaging app course. And this is...
Hi, hello, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Steve Diop, Open Learning Manager for Teaching English in Sub-Saharan Africa, and I represent the delivery team for Messenger app courses. So welcome to this session. We're excited to share insights and best practices from our work today.
Hey, can we show the slide? Great, thank you. So just to go through what we'll cover today. So first of all, we're going to talk about our motivation. So why run a course through a messaging app? Then we'll talk about the features. So what are the features of a successful messaging app course? And we'll also talk about our considerations as well. So things you might need to think about before running a course through a messaging app. So we really hope that you'll take away some useful tips and be inspired to deliver courses on messaging apps in your contexts. So Steve.
Thank you. Thanks, Philippa, for the outline. So now we'll quickly moving on to a quick poll. So just to kick things off, to warm you up. So let's take a quick look at some of the most popular messaging apps. As you can see on the screen, can you answer that quick poll that pops up in the screen and tell us a little bit more about how you've used messaging apps before? So please feel free to contribute to the poll. So you can select as many options as possible if you like. So it's multiple choice. Share with us. Any good. I can actually see some comments in the chat as well. I think some participants may not be able to access the poll. So, but thanks for actually sharing with us how you've used messaging apps before. Yeah, WhatsApp, Telegram. Yeah, awesome. Telegram is actually quite popular than WhatsApp. Very well. Very well.
Okay. Can we see the results of the poll? Oh, okay. Okay. Can't see the results of the poll, but so I can see. Oh, fantastic! It's just gone away. Well,
yeah, it's back. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, I mean, yeah, Steve, we sort of anticipated this. Most of you send messages, send photos, videos, etc. And we actually have a few people have actually done CPD or continuing professional development courses on messaging apps before. So that's really interesting. So yeah, it's really great to see that some of you have experience of that already. Those of you who don't, we hope that you'll have some tips to take away today. All right, thank you so much. And I can see also people contributing in the chat as well, which is great. So just to give you a little bit of context and talk about why we wanted to deliver messaging app courses. So we wanted to do this. So we wanted to adapt to local contexts and needs. We wanted to reduce barriers to continuing professional development. Often, if you're using a learning management system to do a professional development course, some teachers in some contexts aren't, they have connectivity issues. They might not have email addresses. So using messaging apps, we wanted to kind of reduce those barriers. And also connectivity issues. A lot of messaging apps take up less data than learning management systems, which leads to the next point. So we wanted to deliver courses that are potentially more sustainable. There's less environmental impact when using a messaging app course. And really important, I mean, connecting teachers and building communities. So in a messaging app, a community is inbuilt into that app, and leading to that, obviously, building community and connection increases teacher well-being, which is really, really important. So Is any of these are any of those issues important in your context? You go back, Steve. Were any of these issues important in your context? If any of them resonate with you, could you put a number in the chat? For example, if in your context you want to adapt to local context and needs, can you put number 1 in the chat? Fantastic, thank you. We can see some people contributing at all. Yeah, increased teacher well-being. Yeah, I can see. Anybody else? Great. I'll give you another few seconds. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm getting some now.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So a lot of like our motivations correspond to your motivations too. So that's really great. We really hope that during this presentation, during our talk, you'll get some ideas and inspiration. So Steve, let's talk a little bit about the course itself. So what is Explore Teaching English, and what do we do?
Sure. I'd like to give you a quick overview now of what we did. So we developed Expert Teaching English specifically for teachers with low digital skills. So teachers who also work in low resource contexts. So the program was actually kind of focuses on helping these teachers access teaching English resources to improve their classroom teaching and their professional development. So we piloted the course in collaboration with e-consultants in 6 countries across the globe. And we later expanded to run a live course in 23 countries in Sub-Saharan Africa. So with a total of 491 course participants, we were able to sort of really engage teachers across the continent, engaging them with apps that they're actually familiar with. So WhatsApp and Telegram. So we actually use those 2 apps to sort of deliver these courses with them. And we the approach ensured that we could reach and support teachers effectively, even in challenging settings. So this is actually what's behind our reasoning for delivering these courses on this messenger app, because there's actually getting closer to these teachers and then kind of providing them the opportunity to also benefit from a fully developed course, not on a learning management platform. So we get some overwhelming feedback, and everything was positive actually as well, and the completion rate on these courses was actually the highest we've got. So I will let Philippa share a bit more about some of the main consideration now about how what we did to really plan this course, and then give you examples of some of the some of the principles we apply in the course design.
Thank you. So before starting, when we were designing the course, we had obviously some considerations. So these are some of the main considerations that we had before starting and before in the design process. So in the chat, could you make some guesses, please? You have some blank spaces where the words are. So I'll give you the first one as an example. So the first one is app choice. What do you think 2, 3, 4, and 5 are? If you could write in the chat what you think the missing words are. Fantastic. We have some really great guesses already. Okay, great. Okay, I'll give you another 30 seconds.
Yeah,
okay,
number 2 is the most
fantastic.
difficult.
Yeah. Okay, great. We've got some good guesses coming in. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, some of these are really important. You've mentioned in the chat some things that we don't have on the list, but are also important. But these are our main considerations. So yeah, we have number 2 is safeguarding. 3 was, as somebody said in the chat, methodology and structure. We have number 4, which is interaction and support, and 5, monitoring and evaluation. So we're going to talk through each of these considerations, drawing from our own examples. And so Steve, can you talk about the messaging app choice? What did
Sure,
we decide to
absolutely.
do?
Yeah, definitely. So we've actually tried with 2 apps. So we tried with WhatsApp and we tried with Telegram. So there are pros and cons, obviously, of using some of these apps. But we found from my experience that Telegram has an edge over WhatsApp, because Telegram allows for 200,000 users, but per channel. So you can actually definitely, if you're looking for a large number of participants, you can definitely use Telegram instead of WhatsApp. And Telegram also uses 35 to 45%, 40% less data than WhatsApp. So if you are data conscious, if for example, if data is expensive in your area, you can actually, actually vote for Telegram. And then Telegram also works using the cloud, so downloads don't take up space. And when latecomers join, they can actually see everything that they've missed. You can also run in-app live streams on Telegram. WhatsApp is quite restricted, so we couldn't actually do any live streams on WhatsApp. We just managed to do recorded videos, and there are other things as well that came up out of our experience. Well, one of them is actually users can actually hide their phone numbers on Telegram, and we'll discuss safeguarding later on. But this is one of the things that actually is a differentiator. And then Telegram offers moderators the flexibility to actually schedule content, which is actually handy for sending reminders. Now, let's actually look at a couple of questions here on app choices. We've actually given you the first and the last letter of each word. If you could just quickly in the chat tell us, because of course you're using other messaging apps, but these are sort of checklists. These are checklists of what you need to actually take into consideration if you want to run a course using the messenger app. So can you tell us quickly? Yeah, I can see some answers already. Yes, nice, very well, very well. Number 3, number 4. Any ideas for number 4? It's quite easy. Yeah, the easiest actually. Number 5. All right, cool. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. So let me just run you through the answers. So I'm going to reveal the answers for you. So first one, yeah, you all got it. It is so you need to make sure the app is legal in your country or region. You need to also make sure that your users are familiar with it, because it's actually it sort of shortens the onboarding process. You need to also ensure that you basically based on the number of participants that you want to have on the course, then the app choice will be actually key here to kind of determine. And then number 4, does it use minimal data? If data is expensive in your area, again, you need to take this into consideration. And then can you hide users' numbers? If users actually are more comfortable access the course without the phone numbers being revealed, and they may want to join more courses with you. But also, finally, does it work on multiple devices? So this is just a checklist, something that that you can just quickly take a look at. And as I mentioned safeguarding earlier, so let's now Philippa is going to actually take us through safeguarding and the principles behind safeguarding here.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, so we mentioned one of the key considerations is safeguarding, and this is especially true on a messaging app course, because on a learning management system, users usually register with their email addresses, and no one's numbers or email addresses are revealed to anybody else. Whereas on a messaging app, you have to be really careful with that. As Steve mentioned, one of the checklists when choosing your app is can users hide their phone numbers? So that's the first thing. So considering privacy and data protection is key. Can you hide people's identities and phone numbers? What about the other 4 elements? Steve's already revealed the second one. So great, you had that. What about the other 3? So can you make a guess what the other 3 might be? I think the third one is probably the most difficult. So let's see if we have any guesses. Okay, nice. Yeah, it's I think the third one is most difficult because it's the icon is okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
Some really good guesses
notifications
here. Okay, I'll give you another few seconds to guess. Okay, yeah, so some really really good guesses in the chat there, and I think some things again are not on the screen. That doesn't mean that they're not important. So the second thing, we'll just talk about admin settings first, because it sounds really, really obvious, and I'm sure that most of you or all of you will consider this, but it's incredibly important that you check your admin settings when you're setting up your groups or channels. There are certain things that you can do in your admin settings to safeguard your participants. For example, you can set with a lot of apps, obviously different messaging apps have different functionalities, but certainly in Telegram, you can set it so that participants can react to things with emojis, but not interact at all. So that might be something you want to consider. It connects to the channel type. We in our course we experimented with a few types of courses. One was broadcast only, which means that the admins or the moderators just posted course tasks, but there was no interaction actually within the broadcast channel itself. So if you choose to go that route, it actually, it means that there are more safeguarding procedures in place. It's easier to control. We'll talk about interaction later, but that might be consideration that you want to make. Onboarding, obviously, who are your participants? How are you going to advertise the course or to get people on board? It's really, really important to think about that. You don't want a link that's shared really widely. You want some sort of measures in place that check that the people that are on the course are the people that you want on the course. And finally, again, it seems obvious, but a code of conduct, really important that you have a mechanism where your participants can read, sign, and agree to a code of conduct. That will be different depending on your context. In our context, for example, relevant contributions, for example, would be one of the elements on the code of conduct. So Steve, in your when you delivered the course in your context, is there was there one element of safeguarding you find particularly challenging?
One of the things that, one of the things that actually was quite challenging was onboarding. Because especially if you have to onboard a large number of participants and obviously you need to sort of allocate more time to, for onboarding to sort of really make sure the people you onboard on the channel are the people who signed up. And you need to make sure that, and WhatsApp actually gives you that option to sort of have a waiting room, in the channel, so you can actually cross-check the phone numbers, the details of anyone who joined and the particular course before you admit them in the channel. So this is one of the things that you need to take into consideration. Other things could be like regular checks, because it's important that you do, regularly check the group to make sure, the standards are actually being added to, and sometimes it even inviting course participants to actually report inappropriate behavior. It will also support you in being, be able to sort of spot things and then deliver, sort of have a space, a safe space for, for all course participants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just to step in, I just noticed something in the chat that was interesting, that somebody said notifications. And I think that is something as well that's important with safeguarding and well-being. So with some messaging apps, you can change the settings so that you're not getting notifications all the time. And I think that's also really important consideration when it comes to well-being, that, that teachers are able to separate their work life from their, home life as well. So I think, although we don't have that as one of the elements here, I think it's a really, really important thing that we should probably highlight that, I thought it was really interesting that some people have written that in the chat. Sorry, I just wanted to add that.
True.
Okay, so I'll going to talk a little bit about the methodology and structure of the course itself. So our Explore Teaching English is a task-based course. We paced it so that admins and moderators didn't just post everything at once at the start of the course. We paced it over 4 weeks, and it's a modular course, which means that there's some flexibility built into the structure. So Steve, tell us a little bit about your context and how it worked in your context.
Yeah, it actually worked really well, because the way the course was structured and the way it was actually developed was actually quite simple, in a way where, we had these had these modules, and we were able to sort of deliver the course one module a week. So giving participants the feeling that they're actually making progress, that they're actually taking part in something that's actually going to be leading to, a sense of self, kind of reflect on, what they learn, and then how they can progress all throughout the course modules. And one element that was also key, which was that, we were able to also localized, the course. So we also added, a couple of things, especially, at the way we deliver the course in South Africa is we added a fourth module. So it was actually a fourth week of course. And we also allocated another week where, sort of give participants the opportunity to sort of catch up, communicate on, share the progress with the group and then support each other. So these are, some of the things that, really, really made it, made the course sort of more engaging for participants.
Yeah, so structure, flexibility, and
Yeah.
localization were sort of built into the course structure. Thanks, Steve. So each module, again, in the base course, where the central team's course design, we had 3 modules. Obviously, in Steve's context, they added a 4th module. And each module was divided into 4 tasks. As I said earlier, it's a task-based course. So you see here, there's 7 stages to every task. Every task had the same structure. What do you think the missing stages are? You have 1, 2, 3. What do you think they are? Put in the chat. Okay, let's see. Does anyone have any ideas what number 1 could be? Remember, every task has the same structure. The first stage, aha, great. We have, somebody's written it, but only to the hosts and panelists, unfortunately. Okay, somebody's written, yeah, really interesting. So how are you going to learn, or the topic? Fantastic. The aim. Yeah, so let's put the first one up there, Steve, so you can see. So the aims, or what are you going to learn? I mean, that's also a way to put it. What else do you think? So we've got number 2, number 3. Oh, we got reflection. Yeah, so number 2 is reflection. And that might be a little bit, well, it might be interesting to see reflection there. We have reflection at the end as well, but we wanted to make sure that it was built into the structure of the task itself. So it's not just at the end; it's also within the, as participants are going through the tasks, reflecting on the different elements. And you can see that it's very practical. So you have learning how. So participants learn how to do something and then they go and apply it in their context. So it's very, the emphasis is on reflection, on practical application, and of relevance, and putting it into practice in their contexts. Okay, Steve. So we're going to show you an example task. So every task has a written element and also a video tutorial to support the task. So this is a listening to a podcast task. Can we show the video, please?
Hello. In this video, you are going to learn how to find more podcast audio files to listen to. First, go to the Teaching English website. Tap on the menu icon. Next, tap on Community. Then tap on Podcasts. Now you can find the different podcast series. Choose one podcast series to explore. Scroll through the episodes and read their summaries. Choose one you find interesting and tap on the title. Now, scroll down to the Downloads. You can tap on the audio file to listen, or you can read the resources that go with it. Well done. Now you have access to a collection of podcasts on the Teaching English website. Download and use them for your professional development or teaching.
So that's an example task. So there are 4 of those videos per module. So we had that nice AI avatar talking participants through the task. So we had like that multimodal support for each task written. All the instructions were written, and also video. So that was a really important element to the course as well. The next elements that were really important were interaction and support, and including elements of those. So Steve, in Sub-Saharan Africa, in the when you ran the course. Can you talk us through why these elements were so important?
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, absolutely. I think these are I can say the core of actually running the course on a messenger app, because these are elements that really make the difference between a course that's successful and participants engage and a course that's sort of really blank and then nobody contributes at all. So first of all, it's moderation. Moderation, because we actually tested a moderated course and a non-moderated course. And what we found out was that a moderated course was actually much more successful because participants found the interactions with moderators much valuable and much more interesting, at least for them. And we also had live events. Now, on live events, during live events, participants had the opportunity to ask questions, interact in real time with just not only the moderator, but also other course participants. So you can also sneak in some guest speakers who have expertise, in the area covered. And then next is help channel. We found out that it's important to have a help channel. We actually decided to have a separate help channel for participants because it kept the main channel neat, and any questions, any worry would be actually shared on a different channel. So the flow of interaction on the main course channel would not be disrupted. And then the fourth element is participants collaboration. Moderators responded to participants, but also encourage participants to help each other by commenting and reacting to the reflections shared by the peers. So it was like it's like it gave them a sense of community. So all participants were able to sort of connect during the course, and then they took it forward. Actually outside the course, they were able to also connect as well. And then finally, we had support documentation. We found that it was also important for participants to have support documentations like information pack. And, Philippa is going to share a little bit more about this documentation, but then a course calendar, have a workbook that they can use to set learning goals, just looking at the course structure. We had all these elements built in this course workbook. So participants can track their own progress and document the action plans and reflection as well. So Philippa is going to share a bit more about the importance of the support book now, and how it helped participants, sort of follow the course effectively.
Thanks, Steve. So yeah, exactly. So in open learning courses, I mean, courses that have many participants, it can be really, really challenging to track participant progress, to support their progress. So because you can't give individualized, personalized support when you are moderating a course with 400, 2,000, sometimes 5,000 participants. So we created this workbook reflective journal for participants to track their own progress, to set their own goals. We could show so to set their own goals, to reflect on their task completion, and to anticipate challenges in their teaching context, and also to apply their learning. So all of these elements, setting your own goals, reflecting on your learning, anticipating and anticipating challenges, and applying what you're learning to your own context and your own teaching situation. All of these are really important elements of self-directed learning, and as I said before, an extremely important part of an open learning course that we find a way to sort of accompany participants in their learning journey without having to give them individualized support. So we did this in this way. It was a PDF handout, but you'll find a different way to do this in your context. But yeah, we really recommend that that you incorporate something like this in your courses. So finally, it's also really, really important to find a way to evaluate and measure course success. So Steve is going to talk through our final consideration.
Yes, absolutely. So it's one thing to deliver the course and then have all these elements put together, to support course participants, but it also, generate engagement. But it's actually part of, of actually building a successful course is to have, monitoring and evaluation set up from the beginning to the end. So the way we did it, we had actually did it in within the course. So we had inbuilt app polls at the end of every task to really sort of find out about the course progress, whether the participants are actually making progress, how are they finishing their task, do they have any feedback on the task, but also are they taking part in the live events, how useful with the live events as well, and looking at the time, the timing as well, is the time is actually fit for for the majority of course participants. So we got tons of feedback, and as we can see on that screenshot, this screenshot here, course participants were able to share which task they completed, and then the moderator can also support, eventually provide more support when available to participants who didn't manage to complete. And then finally, looking at the feedback after the course has completed. Just so these are small. This is just a kind of small selection of the feedback that we collected, but just highlight that the more live events that the better. So participants are usually on the messenger app, they usually are limited to interaction via text, interaction via messages. So if you provide more live supports, like more support through live events, you are going to actually get them to continue going, engaging with the course. The second thing is use a maximum or a minimum of 2 channels. So one channel for the course task, where it's focused on course progress, and then another channel for support to, as I said earlier at the beginning, not to interfere with the flow and not to interfere with the course participants' progress. Third thing is effective moderation, because the more effective your moderation, the more positive it's actually going to be your engagement. So get a moderator who has some passion about what they do, but also who is willing to support participants all throughout the course. We did a fully moderated course. We did a slightly moderated course. The fully moderated course had by far the most engagement at the end of the day. And then finally, because we usually provide a survey at the end of the course, we found out that all users have actually at the end of the course improved the ELT skills and knowledge, which is actually a positive, and we actually feel excited to do run similar course again in the future. So these are the things that you need to take into account. If you can actually take these with you today, these are actually going to be some motivations to get you started on your next course. But Philippa is going to actually look at revisit the motivations.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the talk, we talked about our motivation. So if you go back. So if you agree that that messaging apps can do these things, messaging app courses can adapt to local contexts and needs, reduce barriers to continuing professional development, address connectivity issues, deliver courses that are potentially more sustainable, connect teachers and build community, and increase teacher well-being. Can you put a thumbs up in the chat if you now agree with any of these or all of these things? Okay, nice. Fantastic. Okay, as you're kind of thinking about this, I think it would be really interesting. There was a question really at the very beginning of the presentation, actually, when we talked about motivations, about teacher well-being. And I think that would be a really nice question to start with, Steve, if you want to. So somebody was asking how our course or messaging app courses can increase teacher well-being. And I think, should we start with that one? Because I think that's a really nice one to start with. Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I think one of the key consideration was actually when considering teacher well-being, one of the things that you can actually do here is, for example, if the teachers are, and we discussed app choice, and we discussed the fact that teachers need to also be familiar with the app that you're using to run the course. But one of the things that's really is going to support teacher well-being is offer the course in a different app than the one that they're familiar with. Sometimes it works because why? When participants have a lot of activities, they have family matters, they have their life built into one app, for example, WhatsApp. If you deliver the course on Telegram, then what happens is they are able actually to have that work-life balance. Then they can actually allocate time. So one day, actually, for example, go on the Telegram app, they know that it is for a specific purpose, and they know it's to complete that particular course. So that work-life balance aspect is actually critical here. And one of the things that you can do to sort of get teachers to get to be more familiar with the app that you're using to kind of deliver the course is provide support at the beginning, provide guidance, provide all the different tools necessary to to sort of show the kind of demonstrate to your participants how to use the app, because it's actually critical. And even sometimes participants can actually be using an app for a long time and still not be familiar with some of the settings. So someone can have WhatsApp for almost 10 years, and when you show them some of these settings, they may be new to them. So never don't actually think your users know it all. Always have a process in place to show all the different elements that are actually going to contribute to the success of onboarding, engagement, but also interaction with that particular course.
Yeah, I think it's really important, isn't it? We were talking a lot about running this course and how important it is to include support documentation and to plan really carefully and have a really long lead time, because it's quite complex running a course on a messaging app. Although we really want to emphasize how important and engaged our teachers who've done the course on the messaging app are. So we don't want to kind of say that it's not possible at all. It is, but it definitely is complex, but including the support documentation. So I just wanted to add something about the teacher well-being, that when often teachers work in very isolated contexts and might be doing their professional development maybe on their own or only with a small group of people in their school. So I think when we think about messaging apps, they're on teachers' devices. It's bringing the courses to them and to their to the devices that they already have, and not asking them to register on a learning management system in an isolated way, because messaging apps have that community built into them. Whether you turn on the ability to interact or not, there is still interaction, because they can, respond with emojis, and I think it just feels a lot more familiar, doesn't it? It feels a lot more kind of close to, to them. So that's another kind of reason why it builds this teacher well-being and community. So Steve, we have a few more questions in the chat that are really interesting.
I can see that.
So what about those? So the details of each module. Someone's asking about the details of each module, topics, and what were the tasks. So this course it's called Explore Teaching English. So the idea is that the aim of the course was to support teachers with lower digital skills to use the website Teaching English to find resources for their professional development. So each of the tasks, each of the modules were sort of focusing on different aspects of the website. For example, listen to a podcast and try out one of the activities in your classes, or enroll for a teacher development course and apply what you've learned in your classes. So very much kind of connected to the website, and sort of talking teachers through the sort of elements and resources on the website that can help them for their professional development. So it had a very practical element to it. I think there'll be many of you on, here today that have very different contexts and, develop courses in different ways. And I think just the delivery method, I think, is really applicable to many types of courses and content. So yeah, we hope that you can find a sort of you can apply some of our kind of the considerations and the elements to your own context and countries and regions. Okay, I think we might have time for one more question, Steve. Is there anything else that you'd like to? You've got one about you. So can you tell us a bit more about your students' profile, ages, gender, profession? So they were teachers, weren't they?
Yeah, they were all teachers. So we actually focus on teachers here. The first course was actually run with in collaboration with actually teacher associations. So because we work together with teacher associations a lot in Sub-Saharan Africa, and then we delivered a course, the second course, where we opened it to all teachers across SSA. So again, focusing on teachers who wanted to improve their digital skills was one aspect. So any teacher of English want to improve their digital skills, but also want to discover the wealth of resources that are available on Teaching English and Teaching English Africa, were welcome to join the course. So we really there was no really restrictions on age or gender at all.
Mm-hmm. And interesting, we have actually some participants of the course in the chat, Steve. So that's really
Which
nice
is,
to see.
yeah,
So yeah,
that's really
hopefully
good
that's
feedback.
yeah, exactly. Hopefully, exactly. That's a kind of a really, yeah, that's really good feedback for the course. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today, for all your interaction in the chat, and for your really interesting questions. And we really hope that you found something useful, insightful, or interesting to apply to your contexts today. So in a minute, you'll get a pop-up survey. Please take 2 minutes to share your thoughts. Getting your feedback really helps us. So up next, we've got a great watch party where students share what innovation means to them. So head back to the lobby for more. Okay, thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you so much. Thanks for coming here. All right, cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.